Beautiful faces from across the country. Otherwise, if you'd rather leave it off, that is your prerogative, and we won't force you. But yeah, welcome, guys and gals and folks and others.
What's up, everybody? And thank you, Chase. We're just letting a few people get in here. They're all coming in. Um, hey, definitely excited to have you here. My name is Gustavo. Who was just talking with you earlier was Chase. We're both on the Student Assembly Board of Directors. Chase is the delegate. He's the guy that, when it comes to looking at policy, when it comes to looking at what happens at House of Delegates, Chase is the guy to go to. He's the voice for us at these events. He's a policy maker, changer, editor. I'm trying to rhyme some more. I ain't got nothing else, so sorry, Chase. But we want to start off. We want to respect everyone's time. And I just wanted to give you guys purpose of why we made this event and what's going on. What do we want from this? So this event by APTA is to help connect, facilitate conversations, and just learn more about our association. This year has definitely been, and past year have definitely been something else. One thing that's been taken away from us is being able to come together at conferences for socializing, for engaging, for learning more in that in-person setting. And one thing that also gets taken away from that is those conversations after those conferences, those conversations happening at dinner over maybe a couple drinks, or, just everybody's wearing APTA gear and just learning from different PTs from around the world. So this is what we want to do for students to help us grow, to connect, to keep building that community. So what I want you guys to do, we're using a special hashtag. So if you want to post about this event, and we encourage you to do so, if there's something you've learned, anything of that sorts, we want to use the hashtag APTA Student Social. And on top of this event with our guest, Cameron, we want this to be a conversation. It doesn't have to be, I got a question, here's an answer. You guys want to add something to what was said. Cameron was more than happy to get that conversation rolling, and with each other, because we're really trying to engage students to have what we don't have at the moment, at least currently, with having those conferences in person and having those conversations have on the side. Also, they'll put in the chat here soon a spreadsheet where you guys already has your names listed there, and if you don't, please fill in with your handles, Twitter handles, and also put on one of your favorite songs. I'm wanting to make a little Spotify playlist of all of us with one favorite song at least. So fill out that spreadsheet. And again, guys, thanks for coming. This is definitely going to help us grow and continue our community in this virtual atmosphere that we're in. Now I'll introduce Cameron, Dr. Cameron.
Thanks, Gus. Hey, everyone. My name's Cameron Massumi. I'm a fresh PT. I graduated from Marymount University in Arlington, Virginia in August of 2019. What's up, Ashley? Since then, I worked in an outpatient clinic for a couple months. COVID hit, and just like a lot of my colleagues, I got furloughed and eventually laid off. Spent a couple months trying to figure out what I wanted to do, whether I wanted to go get another job or pivot and do something else. Interviewed at a bunch of places, got a couple offers, but ultimately decided that, I wanted to open my own practice. So that's what I did in October. And since then, I've just been focused on growing that. My practice is called Virtual Physio. It is a telehealth-based practice that works on like holistic wellness and stuff like that. I got involved with APTA early on, my first year of PT, or the end of my first year of PT school. My department chair really pushed first years in the program to go to Next. Thanks, Sarah. And if you're not familiar, Next was a conference that happened in the summer every year, and it was focused on like next gen research and stuff like that. Cutting edge PT. It was awesome. I had so much fun. The year I went was 2017. I was up in Boston at the time, and I got to explore the city, and I was blown away. PT was a second career for me. I came from sales and marketing, and I was used to everyone being really cutthroat and just not great intra-professionally. But when I was at that PT conference, I was just amazed how helpful everyone was, and like just the shared passions and enthusiasm. And I got hooked. And I remember the last day of the conference, I went up to my department chair, and she was like, like, how did you like the conference? I was like, I loved it. How do I get more involved? Like, what can I do? So she urged me at the time to look into the student board. And that's what I ended up running for. Did not get elected my first year. I spent some time working on project committees and finding other ways to stay involved and bring other students on board. And then the following year, I was elected president. So I was president from 2018 to 2019, I think. I don't know, my math might be wrong. But I really enjoyed my time with my board. We had an excellent year, really focused on engaging students more. I think that what this board's doing this year with these student socials is awesome. This is a really cool concept. I love the idea of bringing people together and creating conversations. So anyways, enough about me. I want to hear about you guys. Who wants to talk? Don't be shy. I won't bite.
I can introduce myself. I'm Anthony. I'm a first-year student at Springfield College.
What's up, Anthony? Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, Cameron, I had a question. So I'm Jack. I'm a second year at Belmont in Nashville. So you said you came from sales and marketing. Like what kind of role did your background outside of PT play in like being able to just like so quickly pivot and start your own practice?
That's a great question. I would say it really didn't help me much. So I went from most of my sales experience was in product and product goods. I spent about a year and a half after that in the service industry working on fitness. So I was working for a gym at the time. So I was the director or sales and marketing director for a fitness chain. It was only, let's see, that was 2015. So like 6 years ago at this point, but so much has changed. I mean, especially now that we're in an online world, like I can't do, boots on the ground marketing. So it was really different. I'd say, I've had to learn a lot about social media, and that's probably been the toughest challenge for me in getting comfortable with that and learning how to market myself and my business. But my prior experience, I would say, wasn't the most beneficial in getting things off the ground. It did help me in understanding business planning and stuff like that. I did have some experience in undergrad. I took some entrepreneurship classes that really helped me there. But as far as prior experience being able to like accelerate my timetable, I would say no, not really. It's something that I encourage more students to look into as they move from the student into clinician side of things. If it's something that you're comfortable with and something that you ultimately want to do, take that leap because the risk is totally worth the reward, and you'll find that there's a lot of freedom that comes along with it. I don't know that I could ever go back to working, 9 to 5 kind of clinic style. I don't know that I could do it. But that's not me saying that that's a bad route to take. It's just not for me. It didn't fit.
No, man, I was recently having a conversation actually with one of my buddies who's a medical student. We're just talking the same thing, that 9 to 5, man. Like I like to do your own thing, man. So that's so dope. And I just wanted to tell you, friends, please feel free to raise your hand or in the comment section, put your question, or put there that you want to have a question or add something to it. Again, don't feel like it just has to be questions. If you want to add something that you've seen personally, please do so. Also, we'll be having some polls coming out as well. So get ready for those when they pop up on your screen. But please carry on. Anybody else got anything to add?
Not to scare anyone here, but I have a tendency to call people out. So if I see you just like being quiet and hiding, I'm gonna be like, hey, like you, Reggie. What's up, man? I want to hear your story. I watched that game today. I'm sorry, dude. I was rooting for your team.
Yeah, man, it just wrapped up. It was a hard one to watch, but I survived it. What's up, everybody? I'm Reggie Evans. I'm in Oklahoma City. I'm a part of, actually, it's our first year of the PT program here at Oklahoma City University. So it's been a journey, you know, a lot of questions asked, a lot of getting things organized and getting on the road. But I'm happy to be a part of it. I'm glad to be here, and go Pack Go.
Yeah. Dude, that's awesome, man. That's really cool that you're part of a new program. That's really awesome.
Yeah, it's been different. You know, I've had friends in other programs that I've been talking to about just how different things are, and just really getting questions and stuff about what's going on. I've had conversations with Gus and just trying to understand what's been going on, but it's been good so far. We're moving along.
Very cool.
Hey, Cam, I got something for you.
Let's hear it, buddy.
All right. Hey, guys, I'm Patrick, third-year student at Sacred Heart University in Connecticut. I'm also on the student board, part of NomCom. But my question is, so me in my third year, I'm in clinicals now. And so I've been thinking about opening up my own practice, but I'm just like, I don't know if it's just me not just really feeling the vibes of my clinical. And so it's like, should I keep looking for more place, like on the job hunt, trying to figure out, all right, is there a place that really fits me? Or should I just create my own and go that route? If you have like any advice of how much to look for, if like a clinic or setting fits me, or should I just try to look at trying to open up something that feels that I can create that better toward cater towards what I want?
Sure, that's a great question, man. I'll tell you, my personal perspective is anti jumping the gun when it comes to jobs. Okay, nothing's gonna burn you out faster than taking a job just because it's the first job or offer that you get. You need to make sure that it's a good fit for you. That being said, you know, if your goal is you want to open up your own practice or you want to do your own thing, let's differentiate. Okay, so practice versus solo practitioner. If you want to just be like an independent contractor, there's plenty of places you can work and you kind of set your own schedule. So you can look into companies that do that. There's a lot of travel companies that have contractual jobs like that. Or you can look into being just a solo practitioner, meaning you're not really a company, but you're your own boss. So what I would suggest doing is figuring out what is it that you're looking for in your practice and what you want to do. Is it something that you can do with someone else, or is it really you wanting to do things on your own, your way? If that's the case, there's a couple things. Private practice section has a lot of great resources on opening your own business. There's plenty of third-party companies that you can work with as well. Or you can just do kind of like trial and error. I kind of did a hodgepodge of the three personally. So lots of options. I don't think there's really a wrong one other than just taking a job to take a job. Make sure that you find a fit and something where you're at least going to be happy. There's always room for growth, no matter which option you choose, and you're not stuck wherever you go. But you want to make sure that you're in a position where it's helping fuel your energy, not take it away. I think Devon raised their hand.
Yeah, hi everyone. My name's Devon. I am a second year physical therapy student at Ithaca College, but I'm originally from Atlanta, Georgia. My question for you, Cameron, what has been your biggest success and your biggest challenge in starting your own practice?
Wow, loaded question. Biggest success, I would just say, oh, am I sound loud? No, okay. So I would say biggest success for me would probably be getting things off the ground. I will tell you that, and this kind of goes hand in hand with the failure or struggle. I have been like an eternal perfectionist like my whole life. And this has been a huge struggle with getting my business off the ground, because the number one thing, no matter who you work with, that you'll get taught is imperfect action always beats perfect action. Because if you try and make things perfect, it's never going to happen. You're never going to get that going. So for me, really just putting things out there, like I was afraid that I would put something out that would just put people off, or like they'd be like, wow, that doesn't look professional. And I learned really quickly that like I could have the most amazing branding in the world. And I like my branding. I think my branding's great. But, you know, people don't care. People care about me and like the relationship that I'm going to have with them as a patient and what I can do for them. So putting things out there and being more raw has like exponentially helped me grow versus like focusing on trying to make things perfect and look awesome. So I would say to short answer to your question, biggest failure is being afraid or like putting myself out there and things flopping. And biggest success has also been putting myself out there and realizing that the more vulnerable I am, the more that I'm able to resonate with other people. All right, we got a lot of people. I think Ali was next.
Cameron,
Yeah.
before we go on to our next question,
Yeah.
we're going to shift real quick. We're going to come back. We're going to get back into that order of raising hands, but we just want to make a few announcements real quick. So I want to introduce James Anderson. He's Director of Membership. James, come on, please.
What's going on, guys? Just the sheer fact that you're here on a Sunday night to get together and have a conversation like this speaks to each and every one of you's own leadership qualities and styles. You might not think it, but even just because you decided to click on a Twitter link and show up means that in some form you are your own leader. So I am the Director of Membership on the Student Assembly Board of Directors, and because you are all members already, some things you guys should just think about, because even like when I became a member, I had no idea these were even available to us. We have a financial solutions center that I didn't know anything about when I became a member, and even like a year in, I didn't know, but keep on the lookout, and I'll drop a link into the chat. There's a lot of different things that are given to us already, along with being a member, beyond just obviously the intangible benefit of demonstrating professionalism and promoting the profession, but 40% discount on items in our store. You get a student loan rate discount if you refinance your loans through Laurel Road, which is a partner of the APTA. There's a Dell technology discount, a GE discount up to 5 and 10% respectively. Early career dues discount. So if you ever heard a clinician, freak out, you got to pay this much money after you graduate. Well, if you're a student member and then transition into an early practice professional, you don't have to pay the full amount right away, and you have so many access to research articles and journals that is going to be valuable. When you think about it, it's up to us to translate the information that's coming out so we don't stagnate in the practice, right? I mean, you have probably been around the clinicians who maybe have gotten complacent in doing their ankle pumps, quad sets, glute sets, if you're working in acute care. And really, that's probably not it. We owe it to our patients. And so thank you guys for all being members. Just take a look at the link and scan through it and maybe go, next time you're shopping for something, you'll find something that you can use. Thanks you all for being here.
Gotta save that money. I don't know if y'all heard that song. I don't know. Anyways, thank you so much, James. And now I want to introduce Teo. He's our nominating committee chair elect, and he has another couple announcements.
Say, Gus, man, you gotta make sure I'm the elect. You're the chair. What's going on, everyone? I hope you're doing well this evening. And yeah, I have a few announcements to make. So first one is that CSM is right around the corner. Starts on February 1st. So be on the lookout for that and register if you haven't already on apta.org/CSM/registration. There's going to be a lot of mixed content. There's going to be a lot of networking opportunities still. And honestly, this way it might be easier for you to actually digest all of the lectures and presentations that are going on, considering that CSM can be a large event. So definitely take advantage of that opportunity. And speaking of CSM, we actually have a general membership meeting on February 26th, and that's going to be at 8 p.m. Eastern time. So you can meet with the rest of the student board, and it'll just be a great night. So I definitely recommend joining us on that night. We're also going to be having a conference connections group meeting. So that is where you're going to be able to connect with pretty much every student who is registered for CSM. And so first, thank you to everybody who's dropping the links as I'm talking, but you can join that group me and we will be going through pretty much everything. It's a way that in person that students could meet up, see who was going to a certain lecture or what was happening at a different event later that night. So I would definitely join that. And then continuing on, we have our centennial still going on this year. So January 15th being Founders Day, but this is a whole year celebration. So you can go on centennial.apta.org and you can find more about that. Definitely click the link and look for the celebrate option so you can get to the mosaic and add your picture on there. Continue on with the announcements. We just wanted to make sure that you are connected with us all throughout social media. So on Twitter, the account is APTA Students. And then Instagram and Facebook, you can find us on APTA Student Members. So definitely follow, and then you can continue with the APTA Student Social hashtag, and you'll be updated on everything that's going on. And then lastly, you can just reach out to all of the NomCom. So the chair being Gustavo, myself as the chair-elect, and then Patrick as the NomCom member. We are going to be here and later on talking about the elections and how that goes. So definitely feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions about becoming involved. And I think that is all of the announcements that I have for now.
Thank you so much, Teo. That was excellent. And I just wanted to add, we have that link there to get to know the rest of your Student Assembly board members. A good majority are on this call. Afterwards, hopefully we can get some breakout rooms closer to the end of the sessions that have a little bit more, one-on-one groups of 4 and so forth. But please check out that link, reach out, email us, call us. Man, we want to get to know you guys. We got robbed this year from getting to meet a lot of your people in person. So I love seeing your beautiful faces on the screen. So please reach out to us and so forth. But now let's pass it back to our main event with Cameron here. He's about to, throw us some more of that knowledge.
I'll do my best, man. I think Ali, you had to raise your hand first.
Hey, Cameron. My name is Ali. I'm from Fresno, California. Right now, I'm a third-year PT student. Thank you very much for asking the question. My question, now that I'm starting to look for employment, I have 4 or 5 more months in school, and I'm starting to just browse around. A lot of introductory PT jobs say experience, required or prefer experience. And I'm wondering, and I understand that you're doing your own practice. I'm wondering if you ever had prior experiences or any of your colleagues had with navigating this ground, that wanting so much experience and it's your first off the bat that you apply for. How do you navigate that?
Yeah. Okay, great question. So a lot of times that is put in there to deter people that come in and be like, I need mentorship, or I need this. They're like, no, I want you to hit the ground running. All that does is gives someone a framework saying we expect you to be at this point. You can easily be there as a new grad when it comes to clinical skills. It all depends on you, what you learned in school, and how you performed in your clinicals. It's not uncommon for a lot of people to have imposter syndrome when they're finishing school and getting it out into their first job. They're going to be like, oh my God, they just removed the training wheels and I don't know what to do. I don't have my CI to help me anymore. It's all on you. But you'll learn really quickly that you already know way more than you think you do, and your patients believe in you. I mean, you're there to help them out, right? So just building that rapport and relationship is going to go a long way. When it comes to navigating the job itself, it's all about how you position yourself in your resume and cover letter. So making sure that you highlight the things that you are skilled at. It doesn't necessarily always have to be the PT stuff. You can throw in, let's say you have, for myself, right? I had a lot of experience in sales and marketing. I put that on my resume. I would talk about that. Funny thing, man, most of the interviews I had didn't ask me about PT related questions the first 30 minutes or so I was there. They would ask me about what I did as a bartender 8 years ago. Okay. Because they want to know your personality and what your ability to relate with people is going to be like. How do you communicate with others? Because that's what we do as PTs, right? We build relationships with people. The skill set you can always learn. I would say for you, man, the biggest thing is just trying to leverage what you do have. and really just don't be shy. I mean, I applied to plenty of jobs where the requirements was like 2 years plus experience, or like have to have an OCS, and I got job offers from those places. So it can be done. I don't have my OCS. I don't plan on getting my OCS. But it's just, you know, don't be shy. Be creative in your cover letter. You know, like be like, you know, why is it that you want to work for this particular company? Is it something about their culture? Is it something about their mission? Um, are you filling a need that they don't have and you feel that they do need? You know, just be creative. Be yourself, and things will work out, man. There's a million jobs out there. So just find the one that you're passionate about and go for it.
And I would even add to that.
What was that?
I was going to say, just I'd add to what Cameron said. You interview them as much as they're interviewing you.
It's true. I think Sam.
Hey, Cameron. Nice to meet you, and good to see everyone else here. I'm Sam Zehnder. I'm a third-year student from Concordia, Wisconsin, just north of Milwaukee. And Cameron, my question for you is kind of twofold, actually. One, is your practice cash-based? And if it is, or if it's not, what are your kind of feelings on the pros and cons of that cash-based model? I ask because I've kind of considered, you know, a few years down the road, maybe opening up a cash-based clinic, and I think it's appealing on the surface, but you know, just kind of want to have a little bit of a discussion about what could be some potential pitfalls of it.
Sure. Oh man, I could talk about this for like weeks. Literally, I don't say that I'm cash based, really. I'm just fee for service. So many different reasons. So I don't personally like being limited by insurance and regulated by insurance. Now this is going to vary depending on who you want to treat and where you're located. Okay, because you need to be aware of your demographics. So for me, I live in a very affluent area. Everyone around here I'm right outside DC. So like everyone around here is, you know, government workers or like big corporate companies. A lot of times with insurance, they dictate when you can see a PT, what PT you can see, how often, and the reimbursement rates are fixed. Okay. When I talk to patients, I like to tell them, you know, I work for you. I don't work for the insurance company. So that's one aspect. When it comes down to cost, it's also usually significantly cheaper for them to work with me than it is to work with their insurance, which is counterintuitive because they're like, well, I'm already paying for my insurance, so why would I not use that? Well, it's easy. Let's think about it this way. The average person has a high deductible to get a lower premium. Okay, the average. So let's say the average person has about a $5,000 deductible. Their monthly premium is somewhere between the $150 to $300 range. If you're on the flip side and you have a low deductible and a high premium, you're around like $500 deductible, $600 to $800 premium. Now, if you're seeing a PT, the average PT you go to, you see 1 to 2 times a week, anywhere from 6 to 12 weeks. National average for a copay is between $50 to $75. That means every time you're going to that appointment, you're paying $50 to $75. Plus, if you are an average healthy person and you're not using your deductible for anything else over the course of the year, you are now paying up to either $500 for that small deductible or $5,000 out of pocket for that high deductible. You see how that gets expensive really quickly? So it's all about like educating patients. And once you do that, it's the barrier when people are like, I just want to use my insurance, goes away because you're explaining to them like, look, I have your best needs in mind. And the way that you do that can be different. You can work on a one-to-one kind of model and say like, hey, like I'm delivering like one-on-one care that's high quality, and we don't have any aides, like high school students that'll just run you through random exercises. Or you could be someone like me who employs more of a group kind of model for accountability and stuff like that, and leverage that. A lot of times people like really like connecting, and in a world like today when you can't do that in person as much, being able to build like an online community is huge. So for you, I would say, you know, really think about why or what your business model is. where you want to practice, and then think about those people that you serve. Are they primarily elderly and you want to participate with Medicare? You totally can, man. Nothing wrong with that. Or, you know, is it an area that it does not have much financial resources? You keep that in mind too. So there's no like right or wrong answer. It's just you need to figure out what works for you, who you want to treat, and where you want to treat. Again, if you have more questions, I'm happy to help you out later. But for brevity's sake, I don't want to like eat up everyone's time talking about.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
Insurance. Yeah. All right, Chase. Sorry, I forgot you, buddy.
No, it's okay. It's just I've been staring at this plate of HelloFresh that my boyfriend made. It's getting cold, and like it's the first time he's made it that it doesn't look like complete garbage. He's listening to me say this, so I feel awkward. Anyway, to the question. So hey, I'm on a call. With your practice, it's primarily what I understand is telehealth. Yeah. Did you know that you wanted to get into that like pre-pandemic, or was it kind of just like because of the pandemic, that's the way you decided to kind of take your business? Was it a cause and effect thing, or was that something that you had already thought about doing before everything happened?
Gosh, that's a great question. I would say kind of a hybrid. So I've always been fascinated with telehealth and virtual care. My dad is a physiatrist. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that, but it's a pain management specialist. So it's basically like the MD equivalent of PT. So growing up, he was like on the forefront of telemedicine, and I loved it. It was really interesting to see how he was able to create change and increase accessibility to quality care with patients. I was like, I really want to do that. So when I was in PT school, I looked into a lot of the viability of telehealth when it comes to physical therapy, and found some really interesting research going back as far as like the 1940s. I mean, it's fascinating. I don't know if you guys had a chance to see it, but I did a talk on this for NSC this past year. So anyways, when the pandemic started, I lobbied really hard for the clinic I was at for us to provide telehealth services. I got a lot of pushback. Both of the clinicians that were owners there were heavy on manual therapy, and I have never been that way. And that's my bias. But I knew that the telehealth was great once we finally got into it. I loved working with my patients, and the patients loved it. They were like, this is great. Like, you're actually able to help me work on the things that I've been talking about where I have the problem. Like, it's like, oh, I've been having a problem with like unloading the dishwasher. Great. We're going to do PT with you unloading the dishwasher. Right. I mean, like, you're able to really interact with people in their environment. And I had like one mom who was like so thankful, because she's like, the hardest part about me coming to PT was that I couldn't find a sitter half the time for my kids. And like, I couldn't just leave them at home, and now I don't have to. Or another one that I have, who was a business dude, who just like was like, man, I just keep having to take off like 2 hours because it takes me 30 minutes to commute here. And then I'm here for an hour and I got 30 minutes to go back. And that's just losing time. And that time is valuable for me. So again, that accessibility is huge. I didn't see myself opening a full service telehealth. I thought it was going to be more of a hybrid model. But when I started getting into like business and financials, I was learning that a brick and mortar location would significantly impact my financial resources due to overhead, stuff like that. Plus the fact that I would be putting myself in a position where I was trading time for money, and I didn't want to be doing that. So I stuck in the telehealth route. Most of my stuff is kind of wellness oriented at this point, but I do some standalone PT services.
Can
I just want to. Oh yeah, go for it, bud.
I was just going to ask you a follow-up. Is it a hard sell, that kind of first time you have that interaction with the patient in terms of saying, hey, I'm going to give you some PT advice. I'm going to, do my job for you, but it's all going to be kind of virtual. I guess, what things have you run into, if you have at all, with like barriers or people, that kind of buy-in piece, to build that initial rapport with somebody?
I'll answer this kind of twofold. So first part When people that seek me out, no, it's usually not a very hard sell. I've had maybe one or two people that have been kind of resistant to it, and they're the people that are also looking for passive therapy. They're like, I want massage, or like, I want you to like do some sort of like manual therapy to me, and I'm like, no. There's plenty of other people. I'll send you to one. But I'm all about active-based therapy. My whole model is based around self-efficacy. So when it comes to me seeking out people, which is the primary source of marketing that I do is outbound organic. It's all about education, right? So like I'm having to help people understand where they're having issues and why they need the sort of help that they need. Once I'm able to do that, I don't get a lot of resistance. I explain to them exactly like this is what you need to do. Here's how I can help you. I think the larger systemic problem that we have as a profession is the fact that our identity isn't very easy to define. Um, I about what was it a week and a half ago, I joined the Missouri State had a APTA Centennial meeting where Shirley Sarman was talking about the identity of our profession, and it just like resonated with me so much. It was like, we have this kind of antiquated name. We call ourselves physical therapists, and entirely just kind of like devalues what we do. I mean, a therapist is kind of someone who's like on a lower tier in that medical profession, and you're talking about a passive kind of treatment style. So for me, what she was talking about. Her term was like movementologist. I don't particularly love that one, but it was interesting. Like I think that we need to find a way to better identify ourselves, and I think that will help the public understand who we are, and what we do better. Because if you went down the street, or I guess at this point, if you just post on Facebook because you can't talk to people on the street anymore, right? And you're like, hey, I want you to tell me what a physical therapist does. You're gonna get 100 different answers. Okay. And it'll be like, oh, like you get stretching, or you do massage and stuff like that. And the funny thing is, from like, let's say you're an insurance and you're in an insurance based clinic, you can't bill for a lot of those services unless you like falsely claim it as manual therapy in some of those cases, because stretching is not skill based. Range of motion is not skill based. So I just find it funny that the public view of what we do is just so watered down and like antiquated, and I think that we really need to work on that. I just want to catch up on some of these comments. These have been like flying by. Give me 1 second here.
Thank you. Yeah, appreciate the response. It looks like everyone's talking about how much you should charge for cash-based PT services. So I don't know if somebody had that specific question. It looks like Gus typed it initially, but I don't know if you want to talk about that at all for those who might be interested, or if we just want to. Yeah,
okay, so sorry.
I was going to say, I was adding that just for the conversations on the side, not necessarily for you, Cameron. Just trying to see what other people thought or seen. So
yeah, I would say some of these comments on here that are talking about cost, there's a lot of frameworks that you can look at for services. Many of them are going to make a lot of you guys feel uncomfortable because you're going to feel like you're overcharging, or like you're not worth what you charge. And I will counter that with like, you went to school for an advanced degree, didn't you? You're providing a valuable service, aren't you? Your patients are having life-changing transformations, correct? Look at personal trainers. All right, the average personal trainer in this country per session is between $50 to $150 per session, or depends, right? I mean, they go way higher and way lower, but that's an average. So if you're having an average about $100 an hour for a personal trainer, what do you think you're worth? Look at it that way. Okay. These are really good. All right, so let's go to Savannah and then Ashley.
Cameron. My name is Savannah, and I'm a third-year student at Wash U with someone you know, Lindsay Durand. And I'd like to thank her for getting me here tonight. My question is geared a little bit back toward job searching and whatnot. And I'm just curious from your perspective, how you think the pandemic might have altered kind of job search timelines and kind of job search strategies. Like, do you feel that we as new grads should be applying really early? Do you feel like we should be applying for like tons and tons of jobs? How do you think that this event has kind of affected sort of the flow of job search?
Yeah, great question. I'll tell you that at this point in the pandemic, I think that mindset of kind of scarcity isn't warranted. I'll tell you that going back to about March through July, it was a little rough. There was a lot of uncertainty. People were really scared. Clinics didn't know how to manage things, and insurance companies did not. They took forever, basically, to come out with legislation changes to allow for telehealth and other services to keep places viable. At this point, I've actually seen a huge increase in available jobs out there. There's a lot of clinics that are growing, both the solo kind of private practices and the small, cash or fee for service clinics, as well as the larger insurance-based organizations. They've been having some pretty huge growth. It all depends on what you want. I would not suggest overly applying to tons and tons of places for a lot of reasons. One, it is hard for you to be able to really take a look at the company that you're applying to and seeing whether or not that company, their mission, and the setting is going to be a good fit for you. You have to keep in mind that like it goes both ways. Gus made a really great point earlier talking about you interview them just as much as they interview you. And it's really true. Don't be afraid to go into an interview with questions. I mean, that's what you're supposed to do. Also, timelines of different places have been kind of all over the place, right? So it depends on your state and wherever you end up getting licensed. Because some places you're not even allowed to start working until you have a license, whereas in other states you can work under a provisional license. So that can affect your timeline. And you also and that affects multiple things when a job search. Some companies put out a job, they do one interview and they're like, okay, like we want you, but you need to start next week. And you're like, well, but I don't graduate for 3 months. Right. So that's not going to fly. So you need to be upfront and ask them too when you're looking and say, what is the timeline that you're looking for? I'm going to be graduating at this point. I take my boards in April, or I took my boards in January. What is it going to look like for you? But yeah, I definitely don't think that just like spamming out applications is the way to go. Looks like Lisa put in here a link to some licensure information that should help you guys out. But yeah, I mean, like go on FSBPT's website and you can look at all the requirements and stuff there. There's also some good resources. I'll make a little side comment here when it comes to employment. So Ben Fung, I don't know if you guys are familiar with him, but he is the founder of Uptalk Media, and he puts out a annual spreadsheet that basically talks about what average pays are in your area based on setting and stuff like that. So it's good to arm yourself with that sort of information when you go into an interview, because it gives you some leverage. Just because somebody puts on on like their job application site that says like we're looking for a PT in this setting and base pay is like 55,000, doesn't mean that you need to expect that. And yes, I know I said 55,000. There's a lot of places that pay you nothing. You can go in there and be like, well, that's interesting because here's what all these salaries are for comparable places, including in this facility. And again, don't be afraid to leverage your worth. There's a lot of ways in which you can do that. Yeah, cool. Thanks, Sarah, for that. Yeah, 55 is really sad, and it's all over the place. And you have to keep in mind that just because your salary goes up doesn't mean that your take home goes up. Cost of living is a huge factor. Okay, there's places, I think like Las Vegas, I don't know if they still do, but they had the highest salary for PTs. It was like the average salary for like a starting PT was like 112,000 a year, but your take home was ridiculous, like nothing. Or like New York, right? Like where your cost of living is exponential. Or even where I live in Arlington, I think like the average salary here for a starting PT is like 75,000. But the cost of living here is one of the highest in the country. So like that's like equating it to like a $40,000 a year salary. So it's rough. It can be. Ashley,
What's up, Cameron?
how's
it
it
going?
going? I'm good. How are you?
Not bad. So for everyone, I'm a second year at Cameron's alumni school, Marymount. So I don't know, can you talk about like the greatest obstacle that you faced in going out on your own? And is there anything that you would do differently and why?
Oh, it's a tough question. Greatest obstacle? I still face it. It's definitely been getting out of my own head. I mean, I'm my biggest obstacle. I can tell you that flat out. I struggle with that imperfect action on a daily basis. Um, I love connecting with people and I love helping patients and my clients. I don't like marketing. It's weird. I mean, I was amazing at it when I worked for a company, but when you're doing it for yourself, it's a totally different beast. I just don't like talking about myself. It makes me really uncomfortable. And it's something that I've had to work on. Things that I would do over again is the better question, right? So when I made the decision to start my own business, I knew that I wanted to do things the right way. And my way of envisioning that was like finding experts and engaging them to help me. So since July, when I started deciding that I wanted to open my practice and then actually opening it in practice till now, I've spent um around $30,000 on getting this business going. And if I could go back in time, I wouldn't have spent like a fraction of that, because not that the things that I spent it on were bad, they were just things I didn't need to focus on up front. Like I was trying to solve problems that didn't exist yet. And that was something that took me a little bit to learn. I was fortunate coming out of school. I didn't have any debt. And I was able to negotiate a good starting job to begin with. So I had resources to use. Um, but it's funny, because like Sarah was putting some stuff in the comments earlier talking about different resources, and I took a few of those people and worked with them and was not very happy with their programs for different reasons. Not to say that they're bad, it's just they didn't provide what I was looking for. You need to be careful when you're looking at resources, and make sure that what is being offered is applicable to specifically what you are doing. What my company, I can't tell you one other company out in existence that does what I do. So trying to find somebody else and take their program or their like course and apply it to what I do isn't, cookie cutter like it is for a lot of other people. Example. So Danny Matei, who was mentioned earlier, has a great program, but he's primarily about gym-based PT. Aaron LeBauer is primarily about cash-based PT. Paul Goff is primarily about cash-based PT. All of those have one singular thing in common: brick and mortar. They're physical location-based businesses. I do not exist in a physical space. So trying to apply that to what I do has been difficult. But yeah, I would say, what is it? Super broad. Yes, exactly, Sarah. Need to be more specific. But yeah, so actually, I hope that answered your question. But it was mostly just trying to say that, just because you're finding experts and spending money and time learning doesn't mean that that's the best use of your time. There's plenty of other things you can do, and I would encourage you to just hit the ground running, and you'll find things that work out. See, who have we not heard from in a while? I'm gonna call you out, Elizabeth.
Hi, I am a second year PT student, and I'm just trying to find ways to get involved. I also kind of find that the idea of wanting to be perfect holds me back. So I'm trying to kind of just get involved, join these kinds of talks and see where it leads me. I guess one of the things I'm wondering, I signed up for CSM and I was hoping I could go in person. What would you suggest would be a way to navigate CSM to get the most out of it right now virtually?
That's an awesome question. I feel like some of these students that were at NSC this year should really give some of their perspectives. Before I pass off to someone else, though, I'll just tell you my experience because Next this past year was my first like all virtual conference, and for me, it was find the sessions that you're interested in, but also make sure that you go and look at speaker bios. I'll tell you that nothing has like killed me more than finding a session where I'm like, this is exactly what I want to learn about. And then you get there and that speaker is super smart and intelligent, but just flat. And like, I couldn't sit there. I mean, the nature of online sessions is kind of nice because you can speed things up, or you can kind of like peruse it at your own time. But the way that I've found to most maximize or leverage conferences has been all about networking. There's again, like as someone who came from sales, where everyone's like competitive all the time, the PT world was like a breath of fresh air because everyone's so helpful and caring, and all they want to do is advance the profession. So I would find people that were in the field or area that I wanted to learn from, and I would go and find them on Twitter, or like you can even go on the APTA directory and find a lot of people. So I would do that, reach out to them either on Twitter or like if they had their email listed, go and do that, and you'd be amazed. I mean, like everyone's friendly, like they'll respond to you with something, whether it's like, hey, like let's set up a time for like a virtual coffee, or you know, what questions do you have? Maybe I can point you in the right direction or connect you with someone that I know in your area. And that happened to me several times. Quick example, I was really interested and fascinated in electrodiagnostics. So that was something that, you know, when I learned that as a PT, I could even do that, I was like, oh my God, I want to do that. And I connected with a guest speaker that we had at my program, reached out to her via email later, because I saw she was doing a session at an APTA conference, and then I said like, hey, like this is something I'm really interested in. Every time I like look it up online, all I find is all these like $30,000 courses and stuff like that, or like you have to go and take some like fellowship in this. I'm like, you know, I don't know that this is what I want to do for my whole life, but I definitely want to learn more about it. And she connected me with a guy that was like 20 minutes down the road from me, and we were able to set up a couple phone calls. I learned a lot, and I was like, you know, this is an interesting thing for me, but not a need to do thing for me. So it's nice because you're able to find people in any kind of aspect, and then just ask. I mean, you can go the section or academy route. I think somebody posted about pelvic health in there, and you can go through their directory or go to their board and be like, hey, like this is what I'm interested in. There's all these special interest groups in all the different academies. So find some of those, join them. I mean, as a student, sign up for as much as you can because it's so cheap. I mean, I think I joined almost every section my last year of PT school because I wanted to just have access to stuff. And it was cool because I learned the things that I was interested in. I learned the things that I'm like, this is not for me. And as a student, I'll tell you, people are way friendlier to you than when you're a full-on clinician, because a lot of doors, they didn't close when I graduated, but it's become a lot harder for me to get access to things. And And that was a mind-blowing thing, because now when I ask somebody, they're like, yeah, let's set up a call. It'll be like $100. I'm like, well, I just wanted to talk. Whereas a student, they're like, oh, you're a student. Yeah, let's get on the phone. I want to help you. So don't be shy, reach out to someone. The worst you're going to get is, sorry, I'm busy. And I think that if you try and be that person that kind of waits around, you're going to regret it later, because this is the time to really network and connect with people and get their information. But
Thank
let's see
you.
who. Yeah, no problem, no problem. Great question. All right, so let's hear from a student that like was at NSC this year, and they can say how they were able to leverage the conference and make it work for them.
I know for me personally, one of the things, and it wasn't so much NSC, but House of Delegates with that live group chat. And I know Chase kind of put that in there while live sessions were going on. Just kind of having that also live group chat, just kind of talking, and we'll have some of those sessions during CSM. So, when we get tune in, join that group chat about it. I know one other thing that I did do at CSM was talk with, fellow students about programming that we did, or programming that we liked, and what notes they took, and kind of just talked about it afterwards. So this is a good way, fill out that link with your social media handles to be able to connect and talk about, what you saw for specialties or talks, via Twitter, via Facebook, Instagram, and really trying to find, because it is a unique year. It definitely is a unique year. So I think we're still trying to figure it out as well. But those are some things that worked out for me. And if you have something that works for you that you like, man, that's tight, let us know. Let us know. Anybody else from NSC?
Gus, I was just going to ask, can we get a picture of everyone here?
Yeah. Let's do that. You want to take it, Lindsay?
Yeah, I can take it. I will have to do 2 screens because there's so many people here. Just FYI, guys, we were hoping to get like 10 people to participate. So this is huge that we have 40 people here tonight, and we are really excited and happy that everyone's here and wants to be involved and engaged in APTA. So if you'd like to turn your camera on for a photo, now is the time. I'm going to take 2 screenshots. So everyone look at the camera and smile. Okay, hold on a second. And next one, cheese. Cool. Let me just make sure I have both and that they're different. Okay, cool. Thank you. Also, I'm Lindsay. I'm the director of communications. So if you follow us on social media, I'm the one kind of behind the scenes there. So thank you again if you helped spread the word about this event. It was obviously, I think it was super successful, and I'm glad that you're all here.
Yeah, you guys brought some good questions, and we've had some good combos.
So Cam, as we're coming down to the end, what are some parting thoughts? Something that you want to give to these students that you wish somebody would have told you? What's that one of those pieces of advice? Surely there's many.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's just really hone in on your passion. I mean, everyone's story is different. Everyone's background's different. Your why for going into PT is totally different. But use that and leverage that. Find people that are out there doing what you want to do or something similar, and connect with them. Reach out. APTA is a fantastic organization, and again, that networking is just so key. I think that being able to find people that are, a little bit further down the road from you can be wonderful. I always see students, like whenever I'm on some sort of panel or something talking about jobs, it's so funny to me because everyone always asks the same question, like, how do I like, ask for mentorship, or like, how do I ask for that in a job, or like, what do I need, or like, I need to do residency because I need like mentorship. And I'm like, well, no, you don't. You can get that anywhere, and a mentor is someone that's going to be there long term, as opposed from someone that is guiding you, or a teacher. find somebody that you're able to like build a lasting connection with. Like I have several mentors, and these are people that are like in all aspects of my life within the PT world. People that are educators, people that are like policy people, and that's all they do. Um, and those are people, where like I have a bond that goes with them, and they help me grow and learn about things that I would not have been able to do in another way. And that's all made possible because of APTA and the connections that I made here. So I would say for you guys, just really, be honest with yourself. And I know sometimes that can be really hard. Like introspection for me is one of the most challenging things, because like I have to be like vulnerable with myself, and I don't like being vulnerable. Um, so like do that, like have that as an exercise, find out what your biggest why is, and then see like how can you make that into what you want to do with your career. Because I guarantee you there's somebody that's doing at least something similar and can help guide you along the way. Because now is the time as a student. Now is the time.
No, definitely, Cameron. Definitely. I'm coming on my third year, about to graduate in May. And I'm like, man, there was so much more like connections I could have been making. And so really, guys, you first years, second years, and even third years now, get out there, get going. Cam, thank you, brother. Thank you so much for coming on, talking with us, sharing those knowledge and dropping some facts. One thing, and I want to thank everybody else who came, who signed up to be here, who wanted to connect. And again, we're trying to grow. We're trying to build this community using different ways, using different avenues, especially kind of in the year that we're in the situation we're in. So thank you for giving us your time and so forth. One thing we want to give to everybody still, for those who want to hang out and still chat, have those side conversations. We want to break out into some breakout rooms. If you would like to stay, we'll probably do that for 10, 20 minutes or so, just to kind of chat. We're going to try to keep them a little smaller. That way we can really have some more of that, close communication and so forth. But again, follow the hash, follow us on APTA student members on different websites, follow us on the board, hit up that chat, hashtag APTA student social, ask Cam a question, follow him, keep it up, keep the conversation going. Or ask anybody else a question. Somebody else might have an answer. Let's get it going. But remember to use that hashtag APTA Student Social. And more events like this is down to come. So if you guys have suggestions on making this, what topics you want to hear, put those bad boys on social media. Let us know. What do you guys want? This is for you. This is for you. And this was made by students, and this is for students. So just keep that in mind, y'all. But I'm done talking. I love you guys. Y'all are so beautiful. Such a great thing to see. Such beautiful smiles and such beautiful people today. And again, thank you, Cameron. And thank you for the board over there on the back doing the links and being there, and for your questions from everybody and participation. So let's head out to these breakout rooms if you want to stay. Lisa, can you please do the automatic? And if you want to go, I know you got things to do, please feel free. Don't feel like you got to stay. Definitely follow us on social media. Keep the combo going.
Also, be sure to head out to the APTA Live next Sunday with Lindsay.
Oh, yes. APTA Live. There's a little box. It should be saying something about a room. All you have to do is to click the join button. I hope it's popping. I think it is. You might have to look for it. Oh no, Sarah. Sarah, are you on your phone or are you on like a laptop? Huh. Maybe Lisa, is there? Okay, sweet.
Get in, Gus?
I've chosen not to, not yet, at least.
No, but Sarah got in. Okay.
Yes, Sarah's in. So just me and you are in this big one. Everybody's in those breakout rooms. Man, I wish I could see the breakout rooms, but you can't.
Go in? Do you want to go in? I can move you to.
But I so I did this with the Spanish PTs like earlier this week, and at least from my side, I could shift through them. I could go from one group to the other because I was the host. Oh, Devon came back. Can you put Devon somewhere?
I'm so sorry. I did not mean to leave.
Oh.
Do you want to go into a breakout room, Devon?
Yeah, if you could just toss me to a breakout room, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Sure. All right. See ya.
Could you make me host again, Lisa? If you go to participants, I think I'm co-host, but I don't know if you can make me host and see if that changes. Now I can see them well.
Gus, can you stop the recording? I forgot to do that.
Yes. How do I stop recording?
In the upper left.
Do you want to stop cloud recording? Yes.